Welcome into college football now. He is Will Scott. I am Harrison Graham, and we are here to preview what might end up being the game of the year in the regular season, certainly in the SEC. It is the Tennessee Volunteers hitting the road to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. The College Football Playoff Committee had a chance to make a layup and have it be number 1 versus number 2, but they opted to rank Georgia number 3. The Volunteers do come in at number 1. Got to be the first number 1 ranking for Tennessee in maybe since 1998.
It feels like 98. That's what they've been saying.
Feels like 98, but another big test for Hendon Hooker in Tennessee.
Right, and what the committee has done here, ranking Georgia 3, is give Kirby Smart's squad extra motivation, which Tennessee they're not going to be too thrilled about that, but still a heck of a matchup, and we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll break this one down, look at the quarterbacks, the skill players, the defenses, because I think this is a very fascinating matchup. Tennessee has passed every test so far, including a win over Alabama. We'll see if they can do it again. Georgia currently 7-point favorites. That opened at 9, so it's starting to shift in favor of the Volunteers. Over-under at 66. Hammer the over. This Saturday, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central Time. Should be a fantastic matchup. Before we get into some of the nuts and bolts of this one, who you got in this one? Type UGA for Georgia. Type TENN for the Tennessee Volunteers. You pounded the chest for the Bulldogs. You're going with the VOLS. Let us know, Georgia, Tennessee, this Saturday, who you're rocking with out in Athens. All right, let's look at the quarterbacks here, Will. Hendon Hooker, Stetson Bennett, kind of similar stories in some ways, different stories in some. They're both 25 years old. They've both had wild college football journeys. Hooker, the Heisman favorite. Got to give him the edge, but Bennett is a gamer and has won a ton of big games over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I have to admit, over the last year or so, Stetson Bennett's really proven me wrong. I had doubts about this guy, but he's really been playing at a high level, having the best season of his collegiate career. You look at the yards, not as many touchdowns as Hooker, but
sure.
Give Stetson Bennett a lot of credit, man. He is the clear leader on that Georgia offense. And then Hooker, right now, the clear-cut favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. And if he wins this Saturday against the number 3 Bulldogs, he's probably got that award locked up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you think of Tennessee and Hooker, you think of the vertical passing game. We'll take a look at some of those weapons in a bit, but he's certainly going to challenge Georgia's secondary downfield a lot more than Bennett will. In that regard, it's going to be more methodical for the Bulldogs, probably some more running the football. But another key area when you look at these quarterbacks too, both of these guys are mobile. Don't sleep on Hendon Hooker and Stetson Bennett's ability to keep plays alive and throw the ball downfield or just run for a few yards, pick up those first downs. I think whichever quarterback makes more plays, especially in the key times of this game, probably going to win it. That's typically what these big-time matchups come down to. Hooker's been the better player this year. Bennett's played in more high-leverage games in his career. Going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. Now, will Hendon Hooker win the Heisman? You just mentioned it, Will. If he wins this week, he's a heavy favorite, already a favorite over C.J. Stroud. Type Y for yes, type in for no. I will declare this right now. If Hendon Hooker and Tennessee win Saturday, that is your Heisman Trophy winner.
Even if they lose, he's still got a damn good shot.
Chance.
And
yeah.
I think I would type Y for yes. I do think Hendon Hooker's going to win the Heisman Trophy, and it's very well deserved if he continues to perform at the level he's been performing at.
Well, Hendon Hooker's playing like a lord. Lord Hendon Hooker. And you can become a Lord as well, just like Will and myself have. Lord Harrison Graham, Lord Will Scott. And the way you can do that is by getting going with Established Titles. Go to establishedtitles.com/chat. What they do is offer a fun and novel way to preserve the woodlands of Scotland. They will plant a tree for every plot of land that is purchased, which you can purchase at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland, which comes with an official certificate as well. My certificate's coming in the mail. I cannot wait. They plant a tree with every order, like I said. They work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, to support global reforestation efforts. And Will Scott, trying to get back into the dating game, you could put Lord on your dating apps. Lord Will Scott on your credit card. Hell, I might change my Twitter account soon to Lord Harrison Graham. It just makes you feel a little more important. And what's cool, too, is you can get your plot of land very close to where me and Will have our plot of lands. First 200 people that use our link, which is establishedtitles.com/chat to get 10% off, your plot of land will be within walking range, minutes of where Will and I's plot of land is. Own some property in Scotland. Get those trees planted. It's a good cause. And, hey, call yourself Lord Hendon Hooker, for example. All right, Let's look at these weapons for each team, Will. I think for Tennessee, it's kind of the three-headed monster at receiver. Jalin Hyatt, who's kind of having a Jamar Chase type of season in terms of volume, 14 touchdowns already, had 5 against Alabama alone. He's got almost 1,000 yards. Bru McCoy, who's had a wild college career, transferring all over the place. He's found a home in Knoxville. And Cedric Tillman, who's missed most of the season with injury, he came back last week. He's probably the most talented of these 3 guys. Just another weapon for Hendon Hooker this upcoming Saturday.
Yeah, Jalin Hyatt's having, like you said, just an unbelievable season, 14 touchdowns for him. And you also have Bru McCoy and Cedric Tillman. These guys are going to be going up against arguably the best defense in the country in Georgia. They have a phenomenal secondary, a phenomenal pass rush. How's Hendon Hooker? How are these receivers going to handle that? It's going to be fascinating to watch. But if anybody can go to work against the Georgia defense, it's those guys.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see, who does Keely Ringo guard? Does he shadow Hyatt?
Yeah.
Do they are they scared to shadow because the other weapons can hurt you as well? It's going to be a chess match between Josh Heupel and Kirby Smart. There's no doubt. And then you got to talk about Brock Bowers on the other side. We mentioned earlier, Georgia doesn't have quite the receivers, the vertical game. They have some good players there, but Bowers, the best tight end in college football. He's not even draft eligible yet, true sophomore. 17.5 yards a catch for a tight end. I mean, he is explosive. They use him on an end around sometime. He is that athletic. This is the guy you got to worry about if you are Tennessee on Saturday. Bennett's going to target him early and often. I think he's going to get 10-plus targets in this game. Georgia wants to be more methodical, keep that Tennessee high-powered offense on the sideline. So there's plenty of players in this game that both defenses are certainly going to have to account for. Make sure you join us here at Chat Sports. We're 100% free. Just hit the subscribe button for coverage all year long, NFL, NBA, college football. We're going to react to the CFP committee rankings every single week, Tuesday night. So subscribe and turn on notifications if you're an NFL fan. Daily videos, a lot of NBA coverage as well. You see myself, Will Scott, Mitchell Renz, Tom Downey, some other people on the channel here. So go ahead and subscribe. Let's take a look at these defenses now, Will. You look at the Bulldogs. I mean, certainly they're going to have the edge here. Top 5 in 3 of the 4 categories on the screen, 13th in passing defense. Certainly they haven't faced an offense like Tennessee, but Tennessee hasn't faced a defense like Georgia either.
Right, and when you're looking at, kind of the head-to-head here, this is where Georgia has the clear advantage defensively. They've allowed only 10.5 points per game. You look at their rush defense as well, their pass defense, top 15 and everything. That's where I'm worried here. If I'm Josh Heupel in Tennessee, yes, you do have one of the best offenses in the country, the best offense in the country probably.
Yeah.
But Georgia, man, like I said earlier, if there's one team that can get past this Georgia defense, it's Tennessee.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sure, how I feel about that on the road.
Yeah, I mean, the road is going to be a bigger challenge. Tennessee put up 52 on an Alabama defense. Bama's not Georgia defensively, I get that, but they're probably the closest to Georgia in that regard. Tennessee's defense has been interesting. It's certainly much improved. They do get gashed through the air. Now, some of that is skewed because Bryce Young, what did he throw for like 500-something yards in that matchup? So I don't think they're actually as bad as what it suggests on screen. They're actually pretty good against the run, top 10 in the country, which I actually think these numbers help Tennessee a bit in this regard because I don't think Bennett's going to throw for 400 yards in this game or something like that. So if you're Tennessee, you focus on stopping the run and force Stetson Bennett to beat you. I mean, that is the formula if you're Josh Heupel. Play between the 20s and then try to get stops in the red zone. If you could force some field goals, no key turnovers, I think in a game like this where both teams are probably going to score a decent amount, who wins the turnover battle? Who's converting third downs? Who's forcing field goals? It comes down to the little things because these are 2 stellar teams. I mean, whichever team makes more mistakes is going to lose. I mean, it's just going to be that simple. So there you have it. I mean, it's a pretty interesting matchup, Will. I mean, you and I have talked about it. When Josh Heupel got this job, we did not see this coming, and he has taken the SEC by a storm, especially the last year and a half, getting Hendon Hooker, some other transfers, and if he pulls this off against Georgia on Saturday, this is your favorite to win the national championship.
Absolutely. And guys, go down. Let us know who you think's going to win this game. What is the score going to be? Predict the score. Number 1 versus number 3, the defending champs, welcoming the top-ranked team in the country to Athens. Man, I'm gonna pick the upset here. I know technically, it's an upset because Tennessee's an underdog. I got Tennessee 38, Georgia 35.
Wow, 38-35. I'll go 45-42 Tennessee. I think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be wild. There's no doubt. Subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this preview, let us know. Maybe we'll do some more of them. I mean, hell, we might cook up an LSU-Alabama preview as well. That's a top 10 matchup. Maybe Will Scott will hit you with one of those. YouTube.com/ChatSportTV. Like we said, college football, NFL, NBA coverage. We got it all here. So hit the sub button.